Hey folks, Mario Cavallo here. This is a really quick and important video. We're going to talk about an intersection between this vintage vinyl, this Denon AVR4308ci receiver, and of course this, my Amari LP10 turntable. But we're not going to talk about any of those things. We're going to talk about one function that's a digital thing that actually has made a marriage between all of these items. That is, I'm blown away, okay? What we're going to talk about in this video is the restorer function that you find in this Denon AVR4308ci receiver. Now, I assume that the restorer function is in their other receivers, and I assume that there might even be a similar kind of restorer function in other brands of AVR receivers. Great, okay? Regarding the AVR4308, we don't care about all the other AV stuff. That's not what I want to talk to you about right now today. I'm the pure audio guy. These are my beautiful stand mounts, JBL 530s. I don't have to tell you, okay? Just beautiful stereo sound. All right, back to this. What was a restorer function for in the world of digital compression? Okay, what was it for? Okay, well, do you remember years ago? I do. Years ago, the company that first came out with the idea of restoring compressed dynamic range in home audio was a company called DBX. And they came out with the DBX 1BX, 2BX, and 3BX. Now, compression and dynamic range compressors, and or dynamic range expanders, they've been around places like, professional studios and live concert, giant, professional level music, but never in home audio. So I remember years ago when DBX came along, and the 3BX, which was a 3-band dynamic compression expander, was like, I think it was like $1,500 or $2,000. I mean, it was a lot of money. It's that feature, which is amazing, is now just a push button in the menu of this Denon AVR4308 receiver, which is incredible. So why is that? What does this have to do? This digital? No, you see, the world of today is thinking about digital files. So you have on your phone, and your 128-bit compressed MP3 files. We know they don't sound as good as a full CD. Wow, here's my wonderful Dizzy Gillespie Warner Jazz, right? And they don't. They sound compressed. Literally, from top to bottom. It's nothing to do with soundstage. Nothing to do with depth and quality of the music. This is a very important point. But just the squishing from top to bottom of lows to highs, squished together, bringing it all closer together, compressing it. Wow. I suddenly made the connection between the restorer function and vinyl. Nothing to do with MP3s. Nothing to do with MP3s. So I picked up this vintage vinyl and a lot of other vintage vinyl, you know from my other videos, while I was down in Guangzhou a couple months ago. And what's going on with this vintage vinyl album? I'll tell you how this vintage vinyl album sounds. In terms of clarity, in terms of soundstage, separation of instruments, space, it sounds wonderful. You sit and listen to it, and Herb Alpert's brass, his trumpets over here, and especially Tijuana Brass, you got a lot of percussion, Latin percussion in here. Love Potion No. 9, Tangerine, Whipped Cream, just a taste of honey, which theme song from one of the Clint Eastwood westerns, right? Okay, so the good, the bad, and the ugly, am I right? So unbelievable. However, this vinyl is compressed, and it's not the vinyl's fault. It's the decision of the studio. Okay, so there's vinyl that's not compressed. Okay, hang on. This is 1960s vinyl too. This is Command Classics. Okay, this is unbelievable from Enoch Light. Okay, this vinyl is not compressed. It doesn't need to be uncompressed at all. You put this vinyl on, and the sound is from here to here, and you hear it. And that's the point of this video. I want you to understand. You put on this record or any other uncompressed vinyl. It's not the vinyl. It's the original recording, the way it was recorded. Okay, if you take a compressed recording, if that's what they did to it in the studio, and you burn it onto a CD or you burn it onto vinyl, it's going to sound the same. Okay, facts. Don't argue with me about it. All right. So this is not compressed, but this is. So now you sit and listen to. Here's my JBL. In fact, I want to reference it. Here's the top of the JBL. Here's the bottom. Mwah. They're beautiful. I mean, look at them. They're gorgeous, right? Okay, and they sound amazing. So, and they're known for their mid-range and clarity of mid-range, okay, including sound staging in space. Okay, so I'm going to tell you exactly what happens when I sit and listen. I didn't discover this until a few days ago. So for the last month and a half, I've been listening to this record amongst all my other records, right? Listen to it and I go, da-da-da-da-da, a taste of honey. And I'm listening to it and I'm going, this just sounds so nice. But I notice one thing, as nice as it sounds, and clarity, stage, but I notice I'm listening to it and I'm going, okay. But it's like this. The stage is like this tall. It sounds like this. Now the stage goes back. You know, the other speaker's over there, right? So the stage sounds like this. Okay. Never thought about it. I just thought, well, that's the way it's recorded. Wrong. It's because of the compression. Folks, put on a compressed vinyl through your beautiful sound system. Yeah, I want a pure Class A amplifier, but right now I'm using the Denon AVR, and I'm telling you, you can't say to me this is a bad piece of work. Okay, so let's move on to the next subject here, which is the Denon AVR receiver and the restorer function that's in it and what it does, because it's a miracle for this vintage vinyl, this Amari LP10 turntable. Amazing. Okay. The Denon AVR receiver. Again, nothing about the AVR part. Don't care about any of that. All we're talking about here is there's a whole lot of digital functions in here. Now, you want to say to me this is a consumer level receiver, it's not audiophile? Bullshit. Okay? This thing is punches way above consumer level. Okay, I had a crap receiver many years ago and I had another crap receiver many years ago. This ain't one of them. This is the Denon, made for the American market. Okay, 4308ci. This baby was $2,500 10 years ago. All right, and in fact, I inherited it from my brother. Okay, lugged it back with me from America. Well worth lugging. In 2-channel mode, all I care about is the fact that I want to have an amp, right? I want to know what's going on with the power amp. This thing has massive toroidal transformer. And what's going on with the preamp section. So how good is the power amp section? It's very good. Is it a $5,000 power amplifier? No. How good is the preamp section? It's really good. Okay. Is it a $5,000 preamp? No. And you don't need that for 95% of audiophile sound. So please, enough about that, right? This Denon receiver is extremely high quality in all respects. Now, next point about this receiver. All we care about is that it's in pure direct mode, right? Bypasses everything. You with me, right? When you put this receiver in stereo mode where you can adjust the bass and treble, you can absolutely hear a difference. And everybody talks about this. There's an extra veil above the music. This thing has CD direct mode. It also has pure direct for everything in the system, okay? And that's all I ever run it in. So it has nothing to do with coloring the sound. I want to make it very clear to you, from all the time that I've spent listening to different discs, different vintage vinyl, but this one being the best example, okay, to my ears. When you use the restorer function, it does nothing else to the music. It does not add a veil. When you turn on stereo to use the bass and treble, Immediately the sound quality is different than when you're using CD direct mode, or if you just go ahead on your remote and you just use pure direct, okay? There's an immediate, obvious difference. The clarity in pure direct mode is outstanding, okay? Now, that said, so you're listening to the music and the clarity is outstanding. And this is, again, there it is, the JBLs. I'm listening to the music. There's my stand mount speakers and I'm listening to the music and I reach down and the restorer is off and I go pop and I hit the restorer function and I swear to God, this is what happens. It goes like this. Ah! Just like that. The bass goes down and the highs go zing up and the mid in the middle just opens up and nothing else happens. Can you believe it? Nothing else happens. I listened carefully so many times. It doesn't change the quality of the clarity of the music that's already there. It does not veil the music in any way. Unbelievable. It just uncompresses. The compression on that beautiful old vintage vinyl. Can you imagine? This is like a gold mine. Now, of course, you need to have a nice turntable that'll cut the mustard in terms of already being able to reproduce well. You need to have a nice amp that can already reproduce well, and you need to have nice speakers that can reproduce well. And in all three cases, I mean really well. Okay? With that said, last point. The restore function has 3 levels. Level 1, it opens it up to 64, at what they call 64-bit. I'm not going to pretend that I understand the references in detail of what all that means, but 64-bit, it opens it up. Then 96, and then HQ. My feeling is less is better. When I hit the restorer function from off, I'm listening, and I hit just to the first mode, it toggles, right? It toggles through the menu. It toggles from off to 64 to 96 to HQ, and then back to off, okay? When I hit it from off to 64, it goes like this. And I just go, wow. Now, I want it to be really pure. I don't want it to be that far different from the original. And when I go to 96, it goes a little further, and then HQ is supposed to be all the way. Whatever that means with Denon's little circuit here of digital uncompression that it does. I think it's a function of the JBL 530s. No matter, they really do put out an enormous amount of bass for their size. And most of the time, I don't feel at all the need for a subwoofer, but I'm not a bass hound. But at higher volumes, you really start cranking these. And that's when, you know, come on, folks, no matter what, a 5 1/4 inch two-way, and these are $1,200 stand mounts, okay? A lot of smaller speakers, stand mounts, no matter how good they sound, as soon as you start pushing the bass at high volume levels, it's a bit much, and you can hear it. It's just not going to do what a big pair of floor standers can do, or with what a subwoofer can do. So that being said, when I'm listening at a medium high volume, and I use that restorer to 64, I go, shoo. I'm like, yeah, it's just so nice. When I go all the way up to 96 or the HQ, I feel it's, you know, it really brings that bass down, and I think it starts getting a bit unnatural, okay? And so you have to experiment with that yourself. I'm telling you that, and we're done with the video, I'm telling you, this is a dream come true. If you are a vintage vinyl nut like me, and you got a really nice turntable, but guess what? A lot of the vintage vinyl like this is great vinyl in terms of studio space, but the recording is flat, compressed, and man, the restorer function on the Denon receivers and wherever else you might be able to find it for vinyl, not for MP3s, not just for digital files. Isn't that amazing? I'm so happy to share this with you. When I found out about this over the last few days, I was really excited, and boom, here I am making the video to explain it to you and share it with you. Thanks very much, everybody. Of course, you know what I want you to do. Share, comment, subscribe, hit the notifications button. Thanks very much. We'll see you next time.